Hello, good evening. Namaste to all. And now we are going to start last session of the summit. And our panel discussion topic will be e-teaching learning platform step up, inescapable shift to edtech innovations. And we have very good panelists with us. So first of all, I'm just going to introduce Ashish Bhatnagar, Principal International Schools of Seychelles, Arogya Reddy, Principal Ambassador School Sharjah UAE. Now Sapna Sukul, Teacher Trainer British Council Ambassador New Delhi, and Vivek Prakash, Co-founder and CEO Codingal. So and we have some more panelists, so they'll join in between because of some reasons they haven't joined the session. So let's start the session, and I am requesting Sapna ma'am to moderate this session. So over to you, Sapna ma'am.
Thank you. Thank you so much, Ashutosh, and thank you, Elets, for again having me on board on this panel, which is this time more, I'll say, very impactful because we are going to cover the entire Southeast Asia. So I'm honored to be amongst all of you. And I got an opportunity to read about all of you, and I was delighted to do that. So, starting with Arogya sir. Um, so I read about you in yesterday, and I would like to know that I saw some of the videos, and I know that UAE, as we were discussing, is the most advanced country today. That's the only country which has also allowed tourism along with Maldives. So, what is it that you would like to say that how do you tech companies like we in India also we are adopting many changes and all schools are geared up for the post-COVID situation. But what is it like? How do you filter the gadgets when it comes to taking on which platform to choose for schools? So, how do you go about it, and what advice do you give to all your fellow colleagues if we have to see on a basis which is very, very vast, like the numbers, the volumes are more in schools?
Uh, well, thank you so much. I think, as you said, rightly said, UAE has been one of the advanced countries in tackling COVID situation. I would definitely say that because though we closed in March, we were prepared to return to school in September, and most of the schools have reopened in September with students, either for blended learning or for hybrid learning. And now I think it's been successful. If you take it all, almost 70 to 80% of the students in most of the schools have been reporting to schools for the blended learning, which is a great success. Not that the schools do not encounter positive cases, we do encounter. However, I think we follow strictly the quarantine regulations, but the business is as usual, I would say. Uh, Whether it's blended or hybrid, still the distance learning or the remote learning continues now. Government has given preference to the parental choice. So there are many parents who prefer to continue the learning sitting at home for their kids, which is a welcome note. Now, if you ask me the question about what do you recommend, definitely I'm not here to promote anything, okay? But with my experience, I can tell you, okay? There are different platforms that most of the schools have been using, be it Zoom, Microsoft Teams, or Google Meet, for example, or the Google Classroom. Now, most of the schools started with Zoom, but I think due to known reasons to all of us, some of them have switched to other platforms. Now, if you ask me about our organization, we have been using Google Meet, Google Classroom since March, and it's been tremendous. I'm not advocating Google for that sake, but I'm just sharing my experience here. It's very user friendly. Children have gained a lot of expertise in it, and it also has the embedded options like we can integrate other apps like be it Neopod, Quizalize, Edumi. Okay, you call any Ed Puzzle or whatever apps for that sake. It's easily possible for us to embed, and our teachers have been effectively using it. Our students have been enjoying it, and our parents also have been exposed to seesaw in the early years, and that has been an innovative approach for us. So I think there are a lot of platforms or technologies available, but I would, with a word of caution, recommend, depending on the budgets that the schools can afford to, the school managements and the IT sectors or the IT department of the school can definitely make a recommendation.
Thank you so much. So, as you said that we UAE has already started the school, so I think that's a very positive shift. And you also said that there are cases which do occur when the schools have reopened with blended and hybrid model, but you are taking enough precautions. The proper method of quarantine is followed, so there is. It's not a corona scare as such. So normal schooling is going on. So that's a very bright shine point for us, because we are still struggling that where schools should be opened, and sometimes it's opening and sometimes it's being delayed. So a very positive note said by you, sir. Vivek, now coming to you, I would just like to ask you that, Vivek, I was reading that you are from IIT and you are starting coding classes with the children of every age. And you also started a thing called Hacker Earth, which is Hackathon Earth. So, what is it like, which what you want to do with young children at an early age for coding?
Thank you so much, Sapna. So, to give a little bit of background to be able to answer the question better, I studied computer science from IIT Roorkee, did my bachelor's and master's from there, graduated in 2013. And one of the things that I always saw, specifically during my time at college, in fact, WhatsApp was sort of born in India at that time. Facebook, people had just started using Facebook between the 2008 to 2013 era. Smartphones had just started entering the market, and that, you can say, gave me the first glimpse into how internet and technology is going to affect and change everything in the next decade. That and being a computer science student myself, I could probably see that, by sitting on the front seat of, what was happening around in the world, and specifically, being in an institution like that. That gave me the inspiration to build Hacker Earth, not to be confused with hacking or hacker in any way. Hacker is just a cool word for great programmers who are really looked upon, or anyone who is trying to become really good at what they are doing. And that gives the inspiration to build a open platform, a free platform for software engineers, computer science students all over the world, or anyone for that matter in college who are looking to become a better programmer, who are looking to learn coding. So that was the inspiration. I have been building that company for the last 8 years. It is the largest platform for anyone looking to learn coding in college and beyond. Over 5 million users, thousands of companies use it all over the world today. Now, what also happened in the last 8 years is I realized that, okay, we have done a great job of building this, open platform for college students and beyond that. But the world is now again changing at such a rapid pace, where everything that we know today either has been impacted by technology or will be impacted by technology in the future. Just like, for example, we study maths and science, physics, chemistry, history, geography, biology, everything in a school, not necessarily to become a biologist or a doctor or a historian, but to get a better understanding of the world around us. The same way it is important for kids to start learning coding at a young age, so that they are aware of how the world of technology around us works. When they grow up, some of them will probably choose to go down the path of being a software engineer and go on to build like great things. But for most of them, it will be just about having a better, deeper understanding of the world of technology around us. And also because coding jobs in a way are also the future. There's a much faster rate of growth in the programming jobs than probably compared to any other job today. That's the reality. So that has been sort of running in my mind for the last 5 years, and that is why now I started on this mission that can we build a community based learning platform for kids, where we can inspire them to start learning coding, where we can put out video courses and competitions, coding content, provide live coding classes, which can help kids, at least starting in India, to and probably like millions of them, to start learning coding. And as a business, we are building it in a way where we would like to keep a large part of free, but yes, like figure out ways by which we can also build a sustainable business at the end of the day.
Yeah, so I also want to know, like when you said that these coding games will be built up. So do you think that we as teachers also will benefit from them? We can also join um, um, learning coding because that's a new buzzword for teachers also now.
Yeah,
Do you have?
definitely. Yeah, definitely. I don't think there is any age where one should not whether someone is in grade 4 or someone is in college or someone beyond that. Someone at every age today is learning coding, and even though yes, the content today is very specifically directed towards school students on Codingal today, and that's the sort of content we are building. But that's a very interesting perspective, Sapna, I would like to probably go back, discuss with the team, and see how we can make that happen. So again,
What
very
do you
very
think?
interesting perspective. Yeah, yeah.
Thank you, Vivek. And we all are listening that we also want to learn this new buzzword coding because everywhere we see that people just want to introduce coding at an early age, which is still debatable whether coding is important at an early age or social emotional development is important. So that we'll take it later in the later part. Ashish ji, good evening. And when I read that you're from Seychelles, so I go a long way to Seychelles because I know somebody, a very dear friend of mine, who got married in the year 92 in Seychelles to the Seychelles prince. So she really speaks volumes about Seychelles, and always it's a dream to go to that country. The clean water and oceans, what which she keeps maybe tempting us to come to Seychelles. So very lucky that you are there. And as I was going through your website and I saw the school, so I saw that the population is very less, and you are the only Indian who's running this school there. Like there may be many schools, but I saw the school which you're running. So since I know a little bit about through that from that friend that how strict and how expensive that country is. That's what I get every time I talk to her, and I say that I cannot come because you tell me that it's so expensive. So, what is your like? How does your country and being like I'll say you are the blended model of Indian technology because you see everything what India is doing, and then seeing what Seychelles is doing, and it's a small island or a country, whatever. So, how do you blend these two, and would like to give us a new picture about it?
Namaskar, Sapnaji, and all the panelists, and good evening, good afternoon. Well, really very interesting introduction to Seychelles, and yes, it's a beautiful island nation, very small island nation with a population, actually the country's population less than 90,000. And I must say that we are very very lucky, God's
Yeah.
grace, that COVID-19 has not struck Seychelles as badly as it has hit other parts of the world. And in fact, in Seychelles, we had a lockdown only for 3 weeks in the month of March and April, like 2 weeks of March and first week of April. And ever since, the schools have been running regularly. We never had closed our schools. So, like as I said, like only 3 weeks of school was like closed, and all the schools, including private as well as state schools, they are open. Of course, we were open with all the guidelines and protocols from the Ministry of Health, but still we were really lucky. And even as on date, there are only, I think, 5 active cases of COVID in the country right now, and out of 5, 3 are visitors, and it's just 2 cases of health workers who are actually dealing with these quarantine. The visitors, when they come, they are put under quarantine. So these were 2 health workers who got infected. So well, God's blessings, yes, we are safe, and the schools are working perfectly as normal as it could. We had 1 month of summer vacation as well, like in the month of August. So everything is going on pretty well and smoothly here. Now, when it comes to our topic, of course, like I'll just very quickly tell you that Seychelles is definitely a very very expensive country, and it is the world's 17th most expensive
Yeah.
country, and you need at least minimum $120 per day per person if you are a visitor. So it is definitely one of the most expensive countries, but it's a beautiful island nation with crystal clear beaches, white sandy beaches. It's beautiful. It's indeed amazing place to be. So now coming to our topic of like e-teaching and learning and the teaching learning process during COVID situation. As I said, like in our school and in our country here in Seychelles, the lockdown was for a very small period. But in the school, we luckily we were already using Google Classroom for quite some time, maybe last 4 years now. And Google Classroom was extensively used by all the teachers, especially in the secondary school, not in the primary school. So secondary school had no issues even during those 3 weeks to carry on with their lessons. And like Google Classroom, whatever the way teachers were using it, it was just that we started using Google Meet and Google Hangout basically for some kind of video tutoring. But at the same time, a few of our teachers also started using the Zoom platform. And initially, we all know that actually in the month of March, April, when those who were using Zoom had some security concerns. These concerns were addressed by Zoom. In fact, those security patches were released, and Zoom is now actually quite a safe platform to use. So, Zoom, Google Meet, we also tried with Microsoft Teams, but most of the teachers felt like Google Meet and Zoom is much easier platform, and I mean they found it more user friendly. I mean somehow it depends on the interaction, like the user interface. So most teachers said no. I mean this is fine. But ever since, as I said, like this is going on, and like all the like as a hybrid learning model, which is now becoming very popular, or the blended learning. So we were already using it, but yes, it is more in use now. It has become more common. The only difference in our school that we saw was the introduction of Google Classrooms in the primary school. Like we also created every student's ID in our primary school. Like secondary school, as I said already, all the students had their own like school email IDs through which they were connected to the Google Classroom. No private email IDs were allowed. So every student has his own ID. Even in the primary school, we did the same right from year one. As soon as we knew that there was first case discovered and the country is going to be under a lockdown, we immediately created the logins for all the primary kids, and all the primary parents were definitely were given their usernames, passwords, and so on. So this is how actually it all started. And now even now lot of parents, after initial hiccups, like some of them were struggling, some of them internet is very expensive. Like as we said, Seychelles is an expensive country. I tell you, like what we get in India by some of the service providers, like 1.5 GB every day. In fact, they give it 1 GB every month at that particular cost. So it is so expensive. So internet is not really, like affordable, especially for the students. So this is how we carried on. But just as I said, like a lot of teachers stepped up. Technology was definitely an issue with teachers. So we took some kind of, we took some classes for teachers as well. We organized some classes for Google Classroom and released a lot of videos even for the parents that fine, please refer to these videos. And so ever since, blended learning model has been very successful. It was just that COVID didn't strike Seychelles too much, as well as our school was definitely not locked. So a lot of advantages. And I
Okay.
also have a presentation actually, which if there is time, I can very quickly run through that presentation a little later.
Definitely.
Yeah.
We will just see that. So it's while listening to you, I just sometimes I feel we are blessed that
Yes.
everything is very easily available to us. And sometimes I feel that we are missing that opportunity of fresh air, which you are seeing this sea beaches so clearly. So I think it's a hybrid model. It's a mixed model in emotions also, where we feel that
Yes, certainly.
I wish we were there. But after listening to you, we are very glad that we are in India, and internet is no more a luxury; it's a necessity for us, which is readily available for all the government school teachers as well as for everybody, which the government is
Yeah.
trying so hard. So, and secondly, what you said again, we will say that you are blessed that Corona did not strike your country. so much as we all are facing. And secondly, then I'll say that we are blessed that we have learned a lot, that the population is dense, and still we are learning each day from everywhere, and blessed to have these kind of elets and digital learning platform, which the ones which are bringing us all together, whether it is people, technology, the processes, the culture. I think it's an amalgamation of all of us together, which we used to find only on um, uh, when they used to organize not webinars, the physical meetings, where we never used to
Yeah.
see each other. But it's very good to hear from you. So now coming to Smita. Smita, you are from Bangladesh, and um, I was reading about you. So, Smita, like you are a lawyer, you are a social entrepreneur, you are an educationist, and you said I do. While talking to you, you said I do many more things. I'm connected to the entire education fraternity of Bangladesh. So, I thought the right question will be to for you is that what do you think that how Bangladesh, because we don't know much about, we know a little bit about Bangladesh, but in terms of technology, in terms of progress of education, we would like you to highlight certain points about how Bangladesh is dealing with this situation of it.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much for inviting me and giving me this opportunity to share about my experience and about my country and education system. We all know that at this Corona time, we all are suffering. It is not some particular countries, but every country is suffering and every country is trying to overcome in case of particularly education, health and education sector. But in Bangladesh, what happened after the Corona strike? Uh, there were the lockdown, and still the school, college and university, everything is under lockdown and closed down. So in Bangladesh, the best thing was that our Prime Minister Sheikh Hasina, she actually from the beginning promised to the people that they are going to work on the digitalized Bangladesh. So Bangladesh was already working on this sector and was really improving very well. So when Corona strike in schools, colleges, and university, they adopted this technological thing very fast. But still, there are some lackings I have seen is that the parents they are not that skilled in technology. Because children are studying from home and using the technology, those children can adopt technology faster than the parents, or even I will say the teachers. Now young generation or the new generations, they are really really intelligent, and they are, I will say that they are inborn adapted to these technological things. So what happened is that the parents, as they are communicating in this technological things, they have the lacking using the technology. But teachers are also not that much equipped, and also it is not inexpensive. Rather, I will say it is not possible for every student to use this technology. Even they can learn the technology how to use it, but to get it, it is not that inexpensive. So here, these are the problems I have seen in Bangladesh. And as I was working, I want to share my working areas. I am connected to 100 countries. I am a founder president of a Global Law Thinker Society, young and youth development and empowerment I am working on. And not only Bangladesh, but other countries we are connected, and teachers, educationists, educators, and the institutions we connected, and we are collaborating and trying to find out what are the solutions. And I am also doing my own research, and what I have found is that, like the health, there are science club, there are health club, and there are many kinds of club. So if we can start a club like technology club, so what happens that whoever is they will get some fun through the clubs. So even we can include or involve the parents, that sometimes in a week or any day they can come and join and learn. And teachers also can interact with the students in a fun way, not only as a book and like teaching coding or teaching robotics, or now the generation is the fourth revolution they are facing. But still, education becomes very difficult when we try to teach them in a way, very rigid way. But as technology, there is, we do not have any option other than to adopt the technology. And same time, we cannot forget that why we have created the school. We didn't create a school to teach the children only about what is education, get the job, and live a technological life, or become a robot. Rather, it is a balanced lifestyle. That is why we have created school or the education system. So we also have to create the balance between technology and the life of the children, the what they need to live, and for their inner and spiritual settlement or peace, they also need to work on it. So we have to create balance, and in that case, technological club really can help. And through this technological club, we have many opportunities to collaborate with many other institutes, other organizations. And through the technology, we can see that you are in India right now, I am here, and we are just sharing thoughts. So it's a blessing also. Technology is a blessing also. But there is always two side of a coin. So there is good part and bad part. So we have to be cautious about those part and how our children is using it, because a long time if we sit in front of the screen, it is also not good. Their health is also in trouble. So overall, I will say that we have to find a balanced solution, and adopt the technology. And we should not forget that why we have created the school, for what reason. And it should not be like only teaching them or force them to adopt this because it is coming. Rather, we have to take it as an extra curriculum thing that is necessary, like international language English is necessary to learn. So they can take it like that, because everybody is not going to be like someone tech freak or technology expert. So we have to create a balance so everybody know the general parts, and same time they do not get scared of using it, and also they do not their health should not affect by the technology. This is what
Okay.
is all my observation. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Ram. So, one thing which I liked about what you are creating is a technology club. So, and since you are connected with 100 countries, so please connect with people who are here, and you can expand your technology club. And
Definitely.
and with ELETS, when you are on ELETS platform, ELETS is also starting with the teachers training, which they had already told me, and happy to collaborate with them. So when we come to teachers training also, we will be getting to know a lot about schools and teachers, how your technology club, just pray that it goes from 100 to 1000 and you add more countries to it. Coming to Arogya ji, so I was just thinking that after seeing your backdrop and after hearing a bit about Dubai, what Dubai is so progressive, and we are already feeling, because 20% of my friends are in Dubai, and they are posting those pictures today that see we are holidaying there, and nothing is there. You can go out. So happy to know that. With that, I would just like to know that. We are talking about now since it's an advanced, I think there's sound somewhere, somebody has, I don't know. Yeah, now it's all right. So with this advance, so much of advanced planning, we have already started talking about the job insecurity with, and jobs which are not going to be there in 2030 as fourth industrial revolution has started. So when I was reading, I saw one or two of your webinars and you spoke about renewable energy, that, and also, do you think these drones and all solutions, whatever we are talking, are they going to be introduced through technology in your schools, or are they already being introduced with the new job careers in your country?
Well, yes, that's a valid question because if you look at the reports of World Economic
Yeah,
Forum,
yeah.
uh, there is a complete shift in the job market in the next 5 or 10 years. That's been the report for many years, where World Economic Forum very clearly stated that around 70% of the existing jobs or the job sector would vanish in the next decade. But I think in a way it's a blessing in disguise. Corona has brought in that change, and I think it changed in a year rather than a decade, I would say that. Okay, so even if the latest report, if you look at it, almost 13% of the job sector has already diminished. There are no more jobs now. I mean, I'm sure that's going to be the case everywhere. If Amazon can deliver with the use of drones, I don't think any more delivery boys are required. Okay. And if in education, if you ask me, if SAT scores, SAT essays, or GRE essays can be scrutinized by robots, I don't know what is going to happen to do those evaluators. And it's not far away. It has been implemented already in education sector as well. However, we are speaking more about not at the higher education level, but at the school education level. I think given the fact that this situation has led the report from the Organization for Economic Cooperation, OECD countries, says that only 51% of the students could access the online or the remote learning as on today. So that shows the dearth of infrastructure, it could be, but there is definitely an imbalance of access and equity. So equity and access is a concern. Now, if you ask me whether we are preparing ourselves in UAE for global citizens, yes, I would say, because the whole education system here is monitored very, very closely by the Ministry of Education. We have constant inspections, we have constant walk-ins, there is learning walks into the classroom by dedicated school improvement advisors and school inspectors. And the shift has been for almost a decade, not on the knowledge level, but on the problem solving and application level. And if you look at the latest PISA results of UAE, UAE's ambition was to get into the top 10 by 2020. And thankfully, we achieved it this year. We are at top 10 in maths. We are at top 9 in science. And I think that speaks more about the education system in UAE. If you ask me about our own school, for example, we concentrate more on the competencies or the skill development rather than the knowledge aspect of it. And very recently also I have spoken about the school is not meant to maintain a textbook or to cover the textbook from this cover page to the next cover page. That is only a guiding instrument for us, whereas the competencies and skills have to be developed by the school by developing a comprehensive curriculum. Now, comprehensive curriculum also includes the integration of technology. And teacher is crucial here, because if a teacher is great, any advanced technology will help the teacher to be more effective. By saying that, I also mean to say that the technology can never replace the teacher. Teacher is critical, especially in school education, because those are the founding years. And if you look at the new education policy of India, we are speaking about 5 plus 3 plus. Okay, so when we speak about this 5 plus 3 plus 3 plus 4, okay, it is very crucial for us that the 5 formative years, be it the preschool or the grade 1 and 2, are very crucial, because those are the years where we develop their skills. And when I say skills, I'm not just speaking about the academic skills alone, even the fine motor, gross motor, and the physical development. So integration of technology with skills is critical. And whether the school is preparing the students to be problem solvers, to be critical thinkers, to be analyzers, to be drawing conclusions at the drawing board, these are critical for us. And schools should create those opportunities right from young age by involving the students in the decision-making process of the school. And I think we strictly implement it, and Ambassador Group has been instrumental in giving that free hand to the parents and to the students and to the staff. So technology alone is not enough, but I would say technology coupled with skills is the future of life or the future of the world.
Absolutely. So technology coupled with skills is the future, which we also keep talking about it. And I also agree that PISA results in Dubai were good, but India is also preparing for the next year PISA test. And I can ensure that the way government schools and all the public schools are working, you will see very good results in India. And the third point is like the new education policy, which we have been talking about and discussing in every forum. We are just seeing that it's when I read the Nayi Talim about Gandhiji, I saw it's a replica or maybe a lot of things which we were already doing have come into the action now. So the blended and hybrid model which we talk about. So I'm also noticing that whatever we used to do earlier in that era is coming back with technology. So maybe the education sector will be a very big boon now because such edu leaders are collaborating together and we are learning from each other. So thank you, Reddy ji. Um, Coming to you, Vivek, see, when we're talking about coding and there is a lot of debate going on whether coding should start at an early age. And if we are starting at an early age, then we are not developing the social emotional intelligence about the kids because we are neglecting or because a day is very small in a child's life. Like he spends only 8 to 7 hours in a school, and then if now coding about 21st century skills, about hybrid model. So do you think that coding will be what will be the actually appropriate age to introduce coding? Because sometimes it becomes a fad that everybody is doing coding, so we should also introduce. So what do you want to say on that?
Sorry, I was on mute. Yeah. So I think we are in the very early days where this overall a big disruption in a way is happening in the overall education system, and that is also reflected in the national education policy that came out this year, where coding is being introduced from class 6 onward. And I think a region for a lot of that debate today that we see all around us is actually because we are sort of at the beginning of that fourth industrial revolution, where we are talking about how technology is important for everything that we do, and why studying what contributes to that technology or what actually makes that technology, why studying that subject is very important. And that's the whole reason of this debate, because it is so new to all of us. We use some of these tools and technology around us, but we don't know what actually makes it. And then the coding itself actually gets vague, because the way a college student could be learning it could be very different from a school student could be learning it, depending on again which grade they are in. But at the end of the day, coding is about applying logic to the things around us, and then using that basically logic and that coding a skill set to then build technology, build apps, games, and whatever basically the kid is interested in. um, what I have seen, and I have personally been teaching coding to school students for quite some time, even before I started building Codingal, is that every time I every time I was teaching coding to school kids, they could feel a sense of control. They enjoyed it. In fact, there was a survey done among all the school students in US. This is a survey result from US, but I'm sure the same thing will get the same result if we do the same thing in US. That among all the subjects, like there was one arts and painting and those kind of classes, and then coding and science and math, and then like a couple of other subjects. When there was a survey done that which subject the students like most across all the grades, they found that arts was at the top, and then coding was at the second, and very surprisingly, math and science was at the bottom most among the subjects that kids liked. So. And every time we have seen that, specifically kids, starting at a young age of grade 6 to grade 7, they really enjoy doing it. And in fact, a lot of, you can say, in the last 7 8 years, a lot of time and energy and research and development has been invested that how do we teach coding to kids starting at a young age. Um, Again, talking about US, which has been a sort of inspiration for me to start building Codingal for India. There's a very established K-12 computer science framework which talks about what do we teach at each level, starting from grade 1 to grade 2 to grade 3 up to grade 12. And that's a very widely adopted K-12 computer science curriculum framework in the US schools. Teachers go through training, schools implement that in their labs and in the curriculum, and there is not a debate on whether kids should be studying coding at a young age or not. Companies like Google, they have invested again at least half a decade of R&D into building platforms like Blockly, which is a technical platform on top of which things like MIT Scratch have been built, which is used by kids at a young age so that they can drag and drop different blocks, which is called as visual coding via coding blocks, and then they are able to build apps, animations, and games. And the biggest learning that the kids get, when they do all of it, is they are literally able to build whatever they can imagine. They can think of a story in their head and they can build a conversational animation around it. And this not only helps them transform their imaginations and ideas into these things that they can immediately see, unlike like maths and physics and chemistry, where they have to really like remember a lot of stuff, and sometimes they get a lab opportunity and then they will experiment. In coding, it is all about learning by doing. There's an instant gratification, there's an instant result out there, and that is the reason kids love it most. And by that process, they are able to then learn how the world of technology works, how everything basically around us works. So I would say this debate that we also see today, sorry to conclude, is it's probably a matter of a couple of years, and then everybody will actually get used to it, and it will get even more deeply, tightly integrated into our school
Right.
curriculum. Yeah, which is anyway bound to happen as per the new national education
Yeah, so
policy.
you said it's just matter of time that today Vivek is approaching everyone, and very soon people will approach Vivek for coding angle that please start coding in our school. So very well
Yeah.
summed up that it is just a stimulus and people, and what you said that maths and sciences are way back, like according to you, and coding is first in US. So we are waiting for that. Ashish ji, coming to you, you wanted to show us something. So would you like to show us something, or would you like to elaborate a little bit more about technology in your country? I think we've lost connection, Ashish ji. So I think we've lost. He'll come back again. I can see that he's struggling with as he already said that Seychelles, the network is a problem. So the moment he comes, we will take it. So Smita, now that you said that the word which is already going in my mind is the 100 countries which you are associated with. And what do you do with these 100 countries, and how schools can um, how do schools progress in Bangladesh through your association, or what is it like? What do you want to like? We whatever a little bit I know about Bangladesh through Round Square. I met few schools in Bangladesh, and I met some high tech when higher education people when I did some trainings with them. But they had a different view about schools in Bangladesh. The government sector works in a different manner, and schools. But according to you, so would you just like? I would like to know that how does the government and private school work together? Like what do you do?
Okay, in our case, what we are doing is that we are bringing a change in the whole education system. That is what we are up for. So you see that we are also working for the balanced education and the spiritual understanding, their social development, and we are also working for the future-based education and their working system, because the whole world is becoming global, and the working competition, like definitely a student who is studying not only for to get some knowledge, but also they are getting skilled. So we introduce the skilled education. So there will be two kind of education. One is for their growth, mental and overall social growth, and the secondary is the skill growth. So it is not that only we learn particular subjects, rather they can use it. Like some of our member who participated here, I forgot who mentioned about it. that if you study about biology or any other subject, doesn't mean that you are going to only work for that. But if you just think that somebody is studying or skilled in particular subject from the childhood, so that person, that child can have a vision and have a goal, and that skill he can really prepare better and better, because the more we learn in a particular subject, they get better. So though I am doing multitasking, but still we all need to know about some things, like teachers who is a Bangla teacher, but Bengali or English language teacher, she's she also need to learn about technology now. So
So do
everyone
you
needs to.
think, I just want to
Yeah,
ask, like, do you,
yeah.
like in India, we adopt, we all, it's a good practice that all government schools, they are linked with the private school, and private schools and government schools are working in partnership also. So do you think this kind of system exists, and will it help in when we talk about technology?
Yes, of course. Yes, of course. Without the help of the government, no school can work in technology-based areas. Definitely, they need the support, because only private sector, if they work on the technology, how you can provide the education to the to every child in the country. So you definitely need the support of the government, so they can provide internet or all kind of technological support. And also, like coding, robotics, new subjects are coming, and for that also government need to support these things for the schools, so these things can be available
Is it,
to provide.
is it happening? Like, do you have
Yes,
partnership with public and
yes, of course.
private schools, as government schools working in synchronizing and working together? Do you do
Yes,
this? Like,
yes, they are trying, and we are also trying to do the same. Like as I told you, that we are doing the collaboration. So in case of collaboration, what we are doing, we are giving schools an external support. Like suppose if as coding was just mentioning today, so I would say that we are also working for the coding, like scratch. This is a very easy thing, like 4 years child also can learn it. So this kind of technological skill can be we can provide to the school as a external study, so we can help the teacher to be expert, more expert in this, and teach the children. And same time they get fun, because when someone new come and teach them in a fun way, they learn it very fast. So collaboration with the private sector is not only institutes, also organizations like us or who are working on education. We all should collaborate. When we collaborate, and not only national based, also international based, because we have to focus on the future. The future is that it is global, and the competition is global. So we need our children, wherever we stay, we can work from anywhere. So when we collaborate, we know that what are the improvements we can do. And also, if any school or any institutes do
I,
not have that support, they can support each other. So collaboration is really important.
so I think Ashish ji, are you there? I don't think so. He's able to log in. So that just shows that we are the fortunate countries who are accessing the internet so easily. In fact, I was taking a webinar for Jammu and Kashmir, and much to my surprise, when they said that Srinagar will not have an access, but they had an access and they could understand everything, and beyond Srinagar also they could do it. So we are lucky to be in India and UAE and Bangladesh, and waiting for Ashish ji to join. Meanwhile, I'll request Arogya ji to just tell me that we are in like we are following CBSE, and we can see that there are so many platforms. CBSE has already come up with digitization, and SWAYAM is one of them, and all so many other platforms which they are coming up. So how do you like when as a trainer, when I talk to schools, they say that you say something, the teacher says something, the edtech company says something. How do we narrow down and we make a SOP or whatever the directory to what to use in a school? For as talking about your school is very progressive. That's what I read about it. So how do you narrow it down and use it? Like,
Well, I think, it's very rather easy, I would say, because it's been tried and tested across many organizations.
so
Uh, First thing, I think
you pick and choose. I said you pick
but
and choose.
yes, right. Yes. The way we went through this, I can just give you in a nutshell the way we actually, in a way, have overcome this particular situation. We identified the potential IT champions within the team. Because before March, most of the teachers, though we have all the infrastructure of smart technologies, everything, we used it, but not to the extent that the students were exposed, though the teachers had fair good amount of knowledge. And as usual, I say that the present generation or the students are native digitals, whereas we are digital immigrants, our generation. Okay, right. So, but because we are digital immigrants, we try to treat them as immigrants, not giving them that exposure to play with the technology. So that is when we ventured into these IT champions. I can even name on this platform 2 or 3 of my staff who have definitely who keep helping and who helped us. Mr. Keba, Mr. Shadil, Mr. Abhishek, Mr. Shanil, for example, they took on board every way that we could do. We explored Zoom, we explored Google Meet, we explored Edume, we explored so many other applications just before we could finalize and decide that, okay, Google Meet and Google Classroom is the best option for us. And throughout this complete process, it is not that these 4 or 5 of us sat together, but we trained our teachers also along with us as we explored, so that we get constructive feedback from the teaching side, whether they would be in a way to use it comfortably at their hands. And that is when we actually zeroed down to Google Meet or Google Classroom. Now, every school, I'm sure, has the same package. Like, we go into the need analysis, we develop a catalog of the trainings or the professional development for the staff, and then we involve every stakeholder. Parents play a crucial role in this because it is a change management. And parents are also part of the change agents. The moment we consider parents as change agents, students as change agents, and teacher himself or herself as the change manager, I think it is possible for us. Now, I can very clearly say that it is difficult for government to innovate in classroom. Okay.
Yeah.
But government can create the space and the conducive environment to promote innovation. Now, across the world, this pandemic also has given us a limelight to state that we are at the infancy level in innovation in education. Across the world, I'm speaking. Because if you compare similar technology integration in other sectors, be it marketing, be it advertisement or travel or insurance or banking, we are very much behind. Now, but this is the season. And this is the time for us. Thankfully, as I said earlier, COVID has pushed us a decade ahead, especially in education. Otherwise, we would still have been with the boards chalk and talk, maybe, in most parts of
Absolutely.
the world. Okay, yes. So I think it is imminent for us that the world comes together now to share online educational resources. It should be like, any open resources across the globe. Because now, in most parts of the world, students are not confined to 4 walls, not even the
Absolutely.
boundaries of the country. Because I have students who, though the school is in UAE, there are few students who are accessing my class regularly from India, from Sri Lanka, and from Bangladesh as well.
Okay. Good.
And this week we have the staff training sessions. Staff have, almost 3 weeks holiday. Some of them have traveled and they're accessing across the world. There are few from Egypt. There are few
Okay.
in some other country attending online trainings.
Thank you.
So the global perspective has changed. So education has moved beyond the walls, and
Absolutely.
education has moved beyond the bags and buildings, and education has moved beyond textbooks or the books. So I think the
Absolutely.
technology companies also have to join in this effort,
So we can see
because
that ELETS is one of the technological partner who's during after the COVID. I think this is the fifth webinar which they are doing with international schools, and I'm just part of it from March onwards also. So we can see the progress which the schools have made, and also that, as you said, we have marched a decade ahead of what we thought. So when we were thrust into this sea, we were pushed into the sea. We didn't know how to swim, but today we all are good swimmers. And even the webinar, when we were doing earlier, we used to, when I look at my previous webinars, I say, oh, I couldn't, I was so nervous. But today, all of us, and including all the principals also, when I see previous talks, I see, so we all are actually progressed a lot thanks to Corona, thanks to COVID. And with that, I would just like to thank all of you. And I'm sorry that Ashish ji has, like, he wanted to show a presentation. So I'm sure Ravi ji will allow him next time. And also, we missed a person, Leonilo from Philippines. He just sent a message that he had some emergency there. So in his, in whatever, because till yesterday he wanted to speak a lot. And today also morning he was asking that what should I do and what should I speak. So we missed two of our panelists, but however, we were so lucky that people who are there on board could speak volumes about what they are doing in their country. And ELETS, on behalf of ELETS and on behalf of Mr. Ravi Gupta and Digital Learning Magazine, I thank all of you, and to be with us, to spare your valuable time, to just share valuable suggestions and the wisdom nuggets. Mr. Reddy, thank you so much, because whenever we get a panelist from UAE, we know that they will come with a lot of resource material, which is always a lot of takeaways today also. And Roma, thank you, because you were brilliant. And your 100 network should go to 1,000. You have 3 panelists here. And thank you, Vivek. All the best for your coding game, and may you spread more. Thank you, everyone, and namaste to all. Thank you. Ashutosh, over to you. Ashutosh, you're on mute.
Yeah. Thank you, ma'am. Thanks to all the panelists for this wonderful session, and nicely moderated by you, ma'am.
Thank you.
So now it's time for certificate distribution. So I would like to request Aman, kindly share the certificate here.
Wow, this is all technology then. Thank you,
Yes,
Ashutosh.
ma'am.
I didn't know that this was also there, because ELETS, and I'm so proud to be part of this team, because every time they give us such beautiful certificates, and you feel that, okay, we did the session there, we did the
Yes.
session here. So thank you so much.
And after this, we'll send this certificate through WhatsApp or email.
Oh
So now
my
we'll
God, that's
present
again.
here. Yes.
That's wonderful.
Thank you so much. Thank you.
Thank you.
Well,
Thank you, everyone. I'm hoping to see you again. Thank you.
ma'am, please be there. We present the certificate now.
Okay.
thank you so much.
Aman, please present the certificate here. Yeah. So this is for Sapna, ma'am.
Thank you.
And this is for Raoman Smita, ma'am. Educator, loyal
Thank you
life
so much.
coach, Dhaka, Bangladesh.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much. This is wonderful.
Now, next one is for Arogya Reddy, sir,
Thank you
Principal
so
Ambassador
much.
to Sharjah, UAE.
It's a privilege. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. And now Ashish Bhatnagar, sir, is not there, but his certificate is here. Ashish Bhatnagar, Principal International School of Seychelles.
He was very much there, and as he said that the connection was so weak that he had to leave.
Yes. So this is for Vivek Prakash, sir, a co-founder and CEO of Codingal.
Thank you so much. Privileged to be here.
So again, I would like to thank you all the good panelists, and it was a wonderful session, ma'am. So
It
this
was,
is
the
this
panelists
was
were
our,
brilliant.
yes, yes,
Thank
ma'am,
you.
definitely. So now, ma'am, if like you all have time, so you can visit our expo stall for half an hour, because after 6 p.m. we are going to start World Education Summit Award. So you can join that as well as a delegate. So with this, ma'am, we end our panel discussions of 6th 17th World Education Summit 2020. So thank you, ma'am.
Thank you so much.
Thank you. Namaste.
Thank you, everyone, and lovely being with you. Thank you.
Thank you. Yes.